captain was talking earlier today about calling, and that's one of the problems I realized when we first got to this position, in that I had people calling me, members of the LGBT community, wondering why Seattle had an explosion of hate crimes going on against that community. So I asked them why they thought there was an explosion, because I pulled the cases from 2013 and 2014, and there was a slight increase, but nothing that I would call an explosion. So when I started asking about why they thought there was a significant increase, they started telling me that about assaults that occurred to them, occurred to their friends, and they were getting very specific. They were not just putting general comments out there. They were naming locations, times, dates, injuries, hospitalization, and they were not matching up with the reports that I had. So I would ask every one of them, I said, did you report this? And the answer almost universally was no. And I thought, why on earth would we be reporting this thing? They said, I'm not out yet. I'm nervous about calling the police. If my name's on a police report, I might be out to my family. I may not trust the police for either actual events that happened to them or perceptions that the public has towards not trusting the police in the last couple of years. It really doesn't matter why they weren't reporting. What matters is they weren't reporting. And whether you're a victim of a hate crime or whether you're a victim of a property crime, if you don't report it to us, there's no documentation that we can use to support the city council. We need more officers. The victims don't get the assistance they need. The criminals that do this rely on the fact that these victims won't report it, and they keep victimizing people over and over and over again. So we knew we had a problem. We knew we had a big problem that had to get addressed quickly. I remembered back in the 1970s, or the 1970s, and for those of you who lived around here back then, when I was in elementary school, they had a program, I forget what it was called, but it was a blue or a yellow hand that would go on the residences along the school bus route for the kids to run to these houses if they were being followed, if they were being harassed. They could call their parents, and they could wait there in safety for their parents to arrive. So I thought, wow, what a great idea. Why couldn't we do this in the communities that are affected where most of these hate crimes are going on, which is in the commercial business districts. There's also been issues with many minority communities that businesses come in to these communities just to make money, and they really have no investment there. They make their money and leave. So the concept behind the Safe Place initiative, and this is what the decals look like, is that this is branding and symbolism which is now known nationwide. We're dealing with 50 major U.S. police departments right now that are adopting this, including Canadian police agencies and agencies in Germany. This is symbolism that lets the victims of these crimes know that the businesses that post this on their entrances are familiar with the fact that they need to report these things. The obligation these businesses have is only two things. We kept this intentionally simple. We wanted to keep the symbolism simple. We wanted to let the criminals know, as well as the victims, know that the Seattle Police Department is working with these premises directly. There is a website address on here which lets the victims pull up resources if they need them. And our message is clear on what we want them to do. We want them to call 911, and we want them to report these crimes. Now, even though this symbolism is in the rainbow colors and it was designed for a problem within the LGBT community, of which 50% or more of all the hate crimes in the city were addressed to the LGBT community. When you combine, that's already fairly high. When you combine that with the fact that only about 40% of them are reporting these crimes, that number goes way up. The training we give to the businesses is two things. We want them to train their employees to call 911 if the victim of any crime comes into their establishment. And two, to let that victim remain there until the police arrive. That way they're not getting thrown back out on the streets where these suspects are. And these suspects will quickly realize, as they did the first month that this was established, that they are now getting arrested and not only facing local charges, sometimes they're facing federal charges for hate crime violations. So I had already vetted this with business owners, business association owners, the LGBT community, the press, and they thought the idea would work. It's the first time it's ever been done by a law enforcement agency nationwide. So we started realizing after the first day we launched this that we had about 50 businesses in less than 4 hours that signed up. They wanted to contribute to their community. They wanted to keep the community safe. They recognize the fact that they have to have an investment, just like you as residents have to have an investment in keeping your neighborhood safe. Because without you, we can't do it ourselves. You know, there's plenty more eyes and ears out there than what we have. Okay, and that community collaboration is what scares the hell out of these criminals. A lot of these criminals realize that if a neighborhood is kind of just given up on themselves, they can roam unabated, doing whatever they want. When they really get worried is when the community pulls together and starts calling on their behavior, and they start getting arrested. So this soon started exploding well beyond the city of Seattle within the first week and a half. We started getting calls throughout King County, throughout other jurisdictions outside of King County, and pretty soon outside the state, and within a month and a half or two outside the country. So this exploded a lot bigger than I ever envisioned it being. I'm happy to say that we are busier now operating this program, not just in Seattle, but all over the country, than I ever thought we would be. We also gave us our chance to educate our officers on issues involving this community, which in the past, when you look over the history of Seattle, there were some clear problems between the police and the community, in the fact that those of you who are around in the 1960s may remember that the Seattle police were shaking down business owners, and specifically gay and lesbian business owners, and extorting money out of them. It was a problem that, you know, even though it happened a long time ago, it is still fresh in the memories of those folks who lived it and passed that information on as time goes on. So this was a way to connect with the business community, the LGBT community, the media, which loves this program, and everything else. Everybody's working together to solve some problems. So we couldn't be happier. We also compiled this video, which is transgender video training for our officers. Our officers, like many people, have never been around transgender people, and we solicit the assistance of the transgender community in Seattle to go down to our video unit and just basically talk to us through the camera about what it's like being transgender, and kind of taking the mystery away that many people who have never been around people that are different than them can look at these people as being real people that have a lot of the same concerns about getting through life that all the rest of us have. We trained our officers. We were very proud to say that the way training works in Seattle is we give training online about a variety of topics. Most of us who go through training constantly, our eyes kind of glaze over when we hear there's now more training expected of us. So the lieutenant of training will put the stuff out on the computer and give our officers about 3 weeks to complete it. So normally what happens, like when they're in school, that a few people will do it at first. There'll be a trickling effect over the next 3 weeks. And then the night before it's due, you have everybody trying to scramble to do it, just like cramming for your homework, okay? In this case, the second day this was out, the training lieutenant calls me up and she goes, "Jim, there's something really weird happening with this transgender video training." She goes, "We had over 700 people take this in the last 2 days. Unheard of." She'd been down training forever. And it was generating interest because it was something that they'd never seen before. And they were starting to talk about it, having healthy conversations about it. And it kind of diffused a lot of the anxiety the transgender community may have towards dealing with the police. And these weren't actors. This is not some bureaucratic tape where actors are there talking about crimes and laws and just standard fare. These are just people talking about their lives. And it's really pretty fast. It's an 18-minute video. I've already handed out over 1,200 of these things nationwide to other police departments and community groups and media and stuff. So if any of you are interested in learning more about the Safe Place Initiative, any business or organization can sign up for it. It's free. And I will put my email address on here where you can request that. You can either go to SPD, I'm always terrible about doing this, SPD, safeplace.com, and you can order your details from that website. If you need to get a hold of me, my email address is james.ritter@seattle.gov. Or you can call me if you have a concern that affects my area of control here within the Community Outreach Unit involving the Safe Place Initiative, the LGBT community, hate crimes, you can call me at this number here. It's 206-949-9143. Now, in addition to this, we knew we also had a problem with our officers really understanding what hate crimes were and what they aren't. The community was also confused about that. We have hate crimes law in the state of Washington. It's called malicious harassment, and that is when you are threatening somebody, assaulting somebody, menacing somebody, harassing somebody based on a number of factors. That could be their sexual orientation, their gender identity, their economic status, their age, disability, race, religious affiliations, a number of things where you're picking on somebody because of who they are. There's three categories here, and when I first got into this unit, I talked to the homicide lieutenant who tracks this through our bias crime coordinator. And Seattle is, and Washington State is rare. There's not a lot of states that have hate crimes on the books. About half of them do, half of them don't. So the ones that don't report assaults as hate crimes, even if they are based on that being the primary factor for the assault. So there's a lot of inaccurate information out there as far as, how many hate crimes are happening. I just got the report today, as a matter of fact, and you're going to see when you're able to pull it up on the department's website shortly, that hate crimes have had a significant increase in 2016-17, an alarming increase, as a matter of fact. And they're all broken down into the categories. But the categories are, you've got malicious harassment, which is the actual hate crime that we can verify that a suspect was assaulting somebody because of any of those protected classes. You've got crimes that are committed. So, boy, this is a bit. You've got crimes that are committed against people that may not meet this criteria, but the suspects made a comment about the victim that would include any one or multiple of those categories, where that wasn't the primary motivation for the crime, but it was a secondary motivation for the crime. So these are crimes with bias elements, and they could or could not be considered a hate crime and charged as such. Then, one other category that I told the lieutenant we had not reported up until recently that we need to is bias incidents, where somebody is saying something, clearly offensive to somebody that could start a fight, that may not meet the level of probable cause to arrest, but we need to know who these people are, because with one or two more beers in them, it could go from inappropriate comments to malicious harassment. And we need to identify these people because it is a potential crime in the waiting here. So that is a bias incident. So we've been educating the public for the last 2 years and our officers on what these are. We want our officers to report incidents. If a citizen comes up to us and says, hey, this guy said this to me, clearly offensive, clearly based on this, and in the past, officers might just go, well, that's not a crime, there's nothing we can do about it. We don't want our officers to do that. We want them to document this, because it's easier for us to document this, makes the victims feel better. It gives us information as far as there's something potentially brewing in a particular part of the city with individuals who may do this on a regular basis. And it just basically gives us a lot more information than we've had otherwise. And it's worked out really well. Our officers do a great job on this. So this is kind of what my job consists of. I'm one of only probably 3 in the entire country that are specifically designated as a liaison for a particular community. And more departments all the time are calling up and wanting to adopt not just the Safe Place Initiative, but the same concept that we have in dealing with certain minority communities. So that's what I do. I'm leaving for New York tomorrow. I just got back from Washington, D.C. last week, and we are now educating